Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video to the channel, and in this video we're going to talk over something which has been gone through quite a few times already, but we're going to talk about the roadmap check-in for May. And what this is a nice little overview of what content's coming up, what they've already covered and stuff, or changes they're looking to do in terms of future releases. Now, in terms of this update post, what a lot of people have commented on is the PVM drop nerf, and we will cover it in a video, but maybe a little bit later on. Some really important things I wanted to run through is that in May, there's quite a few decent updates coming. So first one we've got is the augmented rune crafting and thieving, which we're going to talk through at length, but also double XP has been announced for May 16th, which is going to be 2 weeks on this Friday coming up. So what I've got in terms of content for that is I'm very much debating doing 7-day bond as a sort of lead up to double XP, just to show you guys how much money you can make. And I'm going to try and make that live. So what I need to do beforehand, and what you probably see a lot this week, is that we're going to do quite a bit more 7-day bond episodes just to get caught up in real life and real time, because we have done an awful amount of progress. We've done loads on 7-day bond lately, and I can give you guys a bit of an idea of what to do in terms of making a little bit more GP as well in preparation for double XP, whether you want to use your resources or whether you want to use the cash you've made to go invest into other stuff. However, let's get started with augmented rune crafting and thieving. Again, going to be really nice to see what we're going to do with this as well. We're going to bring in main hands for rune crafting and thieving, which are going to come to the Invention Guild on May 12th. So this update, was formerly known as skilling profitability, is the sort of the big push where we're going with this post of making skilling more competitive than PVM. Now, if you want my opinion to start with and kind of the theme of this video, I do think skilling does need a bit of a push in terms of the GP per hour. As a more skilling focused player, I do think that skilling does need a bit of a push now. At the minute, rune crafting is kind of dominating most of the high-end skilling methods, and that's really all skilling needs at the minute. I think a bit more freshening up in certain like materials and skilling stuff, or some like higher methods or some buffs and stuff. I don't think it needs to be at the demise of PVM. PVM kind of needs these skilling drops at the minute to bring balance to some skilling methods, but also to give PVM the warrant of the sort of GP per hour as well. Like, I don't think skilling methods should be anywhere near high tier Zamrak, Telos. Really, I don't think it should be anywhere near sort of like a Raxor, Raksha and stuff like that, unless it's like massively intensive. And yeah, I just think skilling, they've got to be very careful, because skilling is a more chilled way of making GP. For the high tier PVM, they still need to remain that and remain that kind of profit as well. So yes, we'll discuss that a little further on onto this next sort of one here, but really interested to see what they're going to bring in terms of rune crafting and thieving. I think with rune crafting, it's going to be quite interesting to see how they make this offhand different to the runic katuna, and whether you can use your runic katuna along with this as well. So yeah, very interested to see this. Again, thieving will be really nice. Thieving doesn't really ever see the love. Same with cooking as well. Like the two very old 99s, they're kind of like just one and done. You do it quick, you train it quick. It doesn't always have that edge to it that other skills have. So it's nice to see that thieving is getting a bit of a look into, and thieving is getting a bit of attention. So the main thing which we were going to talk about was the game health update, which we're going to talk about Elder God Wars, Raksha, and Wilderness Flash event. So the main point of this is that a lot of these monsters are going to get balanced in terms of their drop table, and by balance, it's going to be heavily nerfed. A lot of skilling items like here, the value of certain items like skilling supplies have been heavily impacted because of drop tables, and the fact of like God Wars 2. You just have to look at things like gem prices. Gem prices and certain herbs as well have come in such quantities that it's absolutely brought the price down, which I kind of get. They want to sort of restore skilling prices to what they used to be. Like gems nowadays can even be profit to craft, which back a couple of years ago would have been absolute madness. And I think gems are one of the real things which is taking massive hits. Logs have kind of stabilized lately. Like a magic log is like 800-900 coins, and a U log's got to like 700-800 coins. I think with what they did with the smithing update and bringing in stone spirits, again, we might just need to adjust that slightly, just to make that a bit more worthwhile, or bring ores back into the game, because ores have gone up, but that's mainly because they've been replaced with stone spirits as well. So something kind of like that was a very good mechanic. Maybe something similar, because you need to replace these drops with something worthwhile in terms of value, and I don't think salvage is the 100% way to go because of the sheer amount of GP it's going to bring in. And one thing we absolutely do not need is more salvage, but what they're trying to do is balance. So they're trying to balance and adjust these drop rates to benefit the economy over the long term. Whether that happens is a different story, so we're going to have to see how it goes. But Elder God Wars bosses are one which they're particularly focusing on, especially the Archglacier, which when you see Archglacier and like zero mechanics, you can kind of understand where they're coming from. It drops so much skilling supplies, and with how easy it can be to be AFK, you've seen people with like 300,000 kills. So the reduced charm drops and the scaling mechanics and the actual drops as well kind of make sense why I've gone after it. Terror Pack, they're going to reduce the normal quantity drop from 30% to 35%, and that's for common loot. And then for hard mode, they're going to reduce the average quantity of common loot drops from 8% to 10%. So it seems like they're going to keep the same drop table, but they're just going to reduce how much you're going to receive. And whether that has a positive or negative impact, we can only really see after it's done and after a couple of months of PVM. Again, it's still going to drop these items, and as a result, they may go up because there's going to be less quantity coming into the game, but I think it's going to be a long-term thing because of the impact it's had on as well. But if you were going to ask me if I agree with this and I think this is the right way, I don't think so. I think what the game would massively benefit from more is a bigger drain on resources, which really is what the 110 skills should have been, especially like crafting. Like, you should have been able to convert X amount of gems into a armor set or something like that. Whether you put rubies on like a rune set or something like that, which would have a big pull on these items, which could get rid of them and take them out of the game. Basically, you need an item sink, and a reduction maybe could be the idea. But again, let me know what you think. Do you think you're doing the right thing? Do you think you're doing the wrong thing? Do you think it's going to really impact PVM as well? Because PVM is kind of the life source of the game. The PVMs are what provide the skillers with the money-making methods because of the items they need, the potions, the food, and all this kind of stuff. Skillers rely on PVMers, and if PVM is going to take a big hit in the GP per hour, maybe less people do it. So it's a risky move. It's a risky move to do it. Yes, they've identified its problem, and it is a problem, but I think it could have been other things as well. But along with that, you got Zamorak in Undercity, the Wilderness Flash events, and also Raksha and Zuk. In some cases, they've buffed the rare drops and reduced massively the common drops, which again is their form of like balancing, but we shall see. Now, in better news, the double XP is coming on the 16th of May. Main thing I would recommend people to sort of aim for is 110 crafting, because 110 crafting is going to come, and I do think it's going to be very big for making GP and a big way to make some profit as well. 16th of May, and you still have your standard 48 hours of use over 10 days, which is pretty much standard on how it is. And pretty much everything else they've covered is stuff they've gone back on as well. But yeah, some pretty big things coming up. Obviously, double XP, we'll do loads of content on the channel. What I'm currently thinking of is pushing out that 7-day bond content and then like doing a sort of bond challenge on how much you can make on the lead up to double XP, because I think it can be a lot of profit, and 7-day bond needs to make profits as well. So that can kind of kill two birds with one stone. This PVM drop rate in the game health update, I think it's something we'll just have to keep an eye on and maybe reflect on in 3-4 months once it's been released and we've seen the impact and see whether it actually works or it didn't work. And also the stuff for rune crafting and thieving, really cool to see. I think it'd be a very, very good thing to see on the game as well. Really nice to see like thieving get some attention. Rune crafting has just recently got a runic tuna and had a couple more stuff as well, but it's really good to see how that will affect the game as well. But should be some decent updates. Skilling updates I'm always a big fan of, because hopefully it provides more ways to make money or improves the skilling side of it as well. But double XP, especially with how prices have gone lately, going to be a real big interesting one to see. I will be doing videos on the Eternal bows and the staffs just to see how they're reacting and if that's worthwhile doing for a moneymaker. I do think Elder Rune as well, and smithing still has its place as one of the best moneymakers to prep for. Not so much like doing the high tier ones, but if you're making something from tier 1 to a 4, I think there can be some decent profit there as well. Obviously we've got the herbs, herb lore, making unfinished potions. That's very, very good. So that's what I always recommend. We'll look at things like crafting and construction as well. Construction is probably what I'm going to do this week. And then I've got a couple of videos to line up for the weekend just to sort of like get in place and stuff as well. But yeah, plenty of double XP content coming. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you guys think to this post? Do you think this is something good or something bad? How badly do you think it will affect the economy going forward? What are your plans for double XP as well? And are you looking forward to these brand new skilling off hands? And do you think we should do it for all the non-combat skills as well? Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know in that comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed a little ramble. It's been a while since we've had a little one. Very important ramble possibly coming in the next week or two, which I'm very excited to talk about. But I don't want to talk about it till I know things are going to happen, which I think are going to happen. So yeah. If you have enjoyed the video though, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next one.